What's up, guys? So, today I'm gonna do a review of For Honor. Um, right now you can see that I'm looking at the main menu. I'm gonna show you some of the heroes first. Um, you got three factions, Samurai Knight, and Viking. Each faction, the first row is all vanguards. They're all like two-handed, do pretty decent damage, all that good stuff. They're the first ones that have already been unlocked. Next row is all heavies. Most of them, the two of them have shields, so they basically just are defensive. The next row is assassins. They are the quickness of the factions. Then the final row is all hybrids, which, they just happen to be kind of balanced of all of them. And, each faction has its own little abilities, all that stuff. But yeah, I'm going to go into my Peacekeeper, being that I have most of my stuff unlocked on my Peacekeeper because I like the Peacekeeper. But when you go into it, you have, how to fight, view progression so you know what's what. But when you go into moveset, you can see different combos you can do. The ones next to it that have the little purpley, pinkish fucking blood drip, cause bleeding, which is important to know because, damage over time is always a good thing because you don't always get a chance to do an attack, and, it's always nice to have that. You also have basic videos to, run it all down so you know how to play as that particular person. This is just progression, shows you what you unlock as you progress. Scavenger gear. It's really important to use in-game currency to buy, packs, which, weapons, armor, and basic. That's where you get your armor and your weapons. You unlock stuff by just simply playing. Sometimes you'll, if you do well enough, it'll just give you something. Sometimes it's just completely random and just goes, here you go, have some random junk, but scavenger gear really helps you to focus on what you want to do. Like if you need new armor, you can focus on that. But being that I've prestiged or reputation, whatever, I have now 3 different loadouts for my Peacekeeper. But yeah, as you can see, there's a little number that's 39, 42. Those are like basically it's like gear score of the division. But you can really break down what you can do with your character, your different weapons and stuff to really get your character playstyle, So they each, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, you can tell like what each weapon or weapon part affects. You can upgrade it, which is always cool. So far I've only seen up to a rare status, but I know it's gonna go higher. But, common only goes up to level 6 when upgrading, that's max. Rare, I'm not sure what it goes to, but chances are it increases about the same number of times. But, yeah, so obviously rare is better than common. Just starts off better and everything. But, yeah, you can get that for, different armors also doing different things, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, what stats it actually adjusts. Execution, health regen, block damage, and, sprint speed. They're all, depending on how you want to play as your character, really depends on how you're going to set up your, character. Different armors, different things. But, yeah, on top of that, you can actually upgrade the looks of your character so you don't have to look like everybody else, which is really nice. Depending on how well you do, like this is reputation stuff, so every time, it's basically like a prestige level, so every time you go through like a prestige or reputation level, you unlock a different outfit, different things you do in battle unlocks different outfits. This is one particular character that I can't change the gender of. I don't know why, for some reason I like playing as female characters. I don't know. I just feel like the assassin characters should be female. But yeah, going into the armor, you can actually change like the designs of it, put engravings, put symbols on your armor, so you can really look different from everybody else. so you got materials, you can change materials and all that good stuff, different ornaments, just overall just change your entire look. You can go into colors, which is, how you're going to look. Like this for neutrals would be like if you're in a duel or if you're in a brawl. The attacker and defender is mostly for like domination, because there's an attacker group and a defender group. And so you can change what colors your character's actually wearing for those. So, you don't have to look like every fucking buddy else, which is always nice. You don't want to... You want to show a little more individuality when you're playing a game, It's you. You want to be noticed, in a way. Like if somebody goes, hey, this guy's doing good, they want to see, the crazy dude with the fucking tiara on their head. But yeah, going into feats, you unlock these based on, how, like, every character, as you keep playing into them, they have their own individual levels, which is why I can prestige with this character and not everybody. But as you unlock different, levels, you get different feats. So, the yellow ones are ones that you actually have to physically use. The white ones are passive. You have different executions, you have to unlock them. I believe most executions are, like you start off with 2, but you have 2 that you can unlock, which are, these 2 because they're fucking awesome. One's 7,000, the other one's 5,000. So, but they look pretty fucking awesome. It's always nice to have some pretty cool executions. Some of them look really dumb for some of the characters, but, it's whatever. Executions are always nice. You got emotes as well. Free roam, you're just standing around doing nothing. You can fucking just hit Y or hold Y and it doesn't emote. Start off with 2, you unlock the other 2. As you can see, I'm about to unlock this one because I don't know why I don't have it unlocked to begin with. I have the money, so I might as well unlock everything for the Peacekeeper, since that's my primary go-to person. Like, if I'm getting my ass kicked, that's the one I'm going to be doing. But you can also do stuff in combat, like as you're locked onto somebody, you hit Y or hold down Y and it'll do a different emote. You also have effects, which are pretty cool. If you're idling or whatever, just like standing still, these effects will take hold and you'll just kind of sit there. Like in this one, you'll have flames coming out your back. Each class also has, like each faction has its own like special emote. Like this one's comes from the Knight. They have Hellfire emotes. The Vikings have the Thor lightning bolt emote, and then the Samurai have the cherry blossom emote. But you can add emotes to your executions, so like when you're triggering an execution, that always looks fucking, pretty badass to always have an emote right there. Or effect, not emote, my bad. For your emotes, you can also add effects. So you're not just doing your little emotes, you're doing an emote with an effect behind it, which is, pretty cool. But as you can see, there's a lot of customization to your character. You don't have to be like everybody else. Which is, I think that's pretty awesome that they went into detail with that. Valkyrie is another character that I like playing, different play style and everything. You have different stuff. As you can see, I don't play with her all that often, but I'll probably start working on her a little more. But they have different ornaments depending on what they are. She's a Viking, so she's not going to have the same looking ornaments, same looking armor as a knight. It's going to be very Viking-esque. Like, I'm probably going to get that dragon, that one, on my head later on. But she's also locked to only being female, which makes sense. Valkyries are female. But you can see they have different executions, obviously based on the weapons you're using. You can't do the same executions. You have different emotes. Every character has its own special kind of emote. The effects are all about the same, but it depends on faction. As you can see, this one, like I said, has Thor's Strike, so it's just a lightning bolt. They also have all their own feats to unlock, so every character is different from the next. Like, you might like the assassin class, but there's also a particular assassin within that assassin class that you would like. So it's like, which faction do you like, and which playstyle do you have? So you gotta think about that when you're picking your character. Alright, so now I'm gonna show you a little bit of the story mode, because there's, you know, offline and multiplayer. It kind of pushes you into multiplayer, but, like, because if you... Here, I'll just show you. But yeah, you got different chapters. You can skip between the 3 chapters, you know, Vikings, Samurai, and Knights. But playing them in order is always a good thing. But you have different difficulties. Depending on the difficulty you pick, as you can see, it has an experience rating. Your story mode has its own ranking system, like its own leveling system, which then carries over into different feats that you have, which is this right here. It kind of shows my progress through it. You know, the higher my story level, the different feats that I'll have, which, you know, obviously will help me progress even further in the story, which is why it's always a good thing to just kind of go with it in order, because it's progressively supposed to get harder. But, I mean, to an extent it does, but it really depends on your playstyle. I mean, some people just suck with knights. So if you're really good with samurai, you're obviously going to find the samurai storyline to be a lot easier. But if you choose a different difficulty level, like say realistic, when you beat that entire storyline, like all of the knight missions on realistic, you'll unlock something, like different ornaments or whatever, to basically show off, hey, I'm a fucking badass over here in story mode. But you can sit here and you can change your feats however you want, just by clicking into it and going left or right or whatever, and you know, all that. This is gonna be a long fucking loading screen because it has starts off with a cutscene. But I'm in realistic mode, so there's not going to be any indicators for which way to block or anything. I have to look at the person that I'm fighting. You know, realistically, there wouldn't be an indicator in front of your face to tell you, hey, this person's attacking from your left side. So it makes sense. But, yeah, it makes the game a little more difficult because you have to actually look at your opponent. But, you know, it's really cool. But
that day I learned that I was serving.
I'm gonna skip all this. It's a pretty decent story. It's not like the worst story in the world. It's not the best either, but no, it's not a bad story. I enjoyed it. It wasn't something I would brag about, but it's not something horrible either. If you've never played the game, it's always good to go through the storyline first, because all 3 chapters will start off with a little tutorial, which is kind of annoying when you first do the tutorial, and every time you go to a different chapter, it's like, crap, I have to do another freaking tutorial. But, you know, basically just going to give you the whole rundown of how to play, which is, you know, if you don't know how to play, it's always nice. As you can see, I don't have the indicator because I'm in realistic mode, but if you're in normal, or I think even hard has it, so, yeah, if you're playing online, you have the indicator, so you don't have to sit there and be like, oh god, where's this person attacking from? So it'd be nice if you could change that and be like in the, you know, realistic mode online, but it's whatever. But yeah, go through the tutorial, continue through the story, you unlock stuff once you beat the individual chapter, so yeah, it's always nice to just go through the story. Actually, here's the map. As you can see, it's yellow, turquoise, greenish color, and red for Vikings, Knights, and all that. But to the left, by hitting LB, you can go into orders, which will get you extra gold. You can have 3 that you can select from and 2 dailies, which is always, you know, it's always nice to have gold. You have Dominion, which is a game type. It's basically just like capture the points. It's pretty nice game mode. You have Deathmatch, which breaks down into skirmish and elimination, and then you have Duel/Brawl, which I'll go into those game modes later on. But as you can see, the map is broken into parts, and you simply play the game modes to conquer those areas by using war assets. That part is wholly, like, cross-platform, which is pretty cool. But if you want to change your faction, it's pretty simple. I'm showing you how to do it right now. You can also change your emblem in here if you want. It's recommended to do faction changes in the the preseason or the off season between seasons. As you can see in the upper right hand corner, what the season is and all that stuff, how much time it has left. You can go to the store, you can buy gold if you want. I don't recommend it. You can also buy the packs so you don't have to work your ass off. So if you're not gonna no life this game, but you still want to have the option to be a fucking badass with your own little shit, then go ahead and buy some shit. Oh, here's where the map happens to be updating right now. So you can see it shows who's conquering what, who's defending against what, all that. And right now you can just see that the Vikings took over some spots, and so did the Samurai. Knights lost a bit. But I'm gonna go into one of these game modes. But first, hold on, I don't know what I want to do here, but probably Dominion. But each game mode, you can go player versus player or player versus AI. Player versus AI is like practicing, especially if you're going to duel player versus AI. You have all the time in the world to select who you want to play as and all that. Brawl is 2 players versus 2 players, so you and a buddy can practice on working as a team if you want. But yeah, the Brawl is basically a 2 versus 2, but it starts off as just the same way as a duel. But once you defeat your opponent, you can go help your buddy. Deathmatch, that's pretty simple. It's a basic deathmatch. In this game, skirmish is basically like the deathmatch. You kill as many people as you can, as much as you can. Elimination, you just eliminate the players. To keep a person eliminated, completely, would be to do an execution. So executions eliminate a player constantly, consistently. They can't fucking be revived, which is always nice. I think I might play as my Valkyrie, because I need to work on that. I like the Valkyrie. It's just way better with the Peacekeeper. But this is going to take a second to load up. But I'm going to do just player versus AI, just kind of show off a little more of how the game works, how it plays and everything. Not really trying to be hey, look at me being a badass playing versus player kind of style. Also, I'm using my Valkyrie, which isn't the best for dueling, but hybrids are basically an all-around kind of player. They're not bad at any particular group, but they don't excel at any particular one either. So it's really good. It allows you to not get your ass kicked immediately. But I'm gonna end up doing an execution here soon. But just to show it off, really. But as you can see how the play style is going, block by holding up. If you're hitting the attack button, you won't block unless you're using the people with shields. That was an execution. To do that, you would just do a heavy attack, because there's light and heavy attacks. And you would do a heavy attack if you land it, and there takes out their health. It sticks for a second, and you just hit X or Y, because you have 2 executions. So yeah, and it does a different execution. But I believe this is where the Viking guy is gonna beat my ass. Anyway, so I'm gonna try to show off all the game modes, but I joined into this game. As you can see, it says kill all the heroes. The standard fight thing happens whenever it's one team is losing. Since everything's tied up, both groups are in standard fight mode. I joined into this game just now, and it's getting really bad, because, this is just, yeah, I think we could probably pull this off. Of course, that's a shield guy, so he's annoying. But, anyway, obviously the point here is to, oh, I'm stuck. Okay. Sometimes you get stuck in things, depends on your fucking character. I mean, if you have a long sword and you're in a close corner, you can't really swing the sword. So you have to pay attention to that, which is also why I like the Peacekeeper, because you have that small-ass dagger and a short sword. But, yeah, as you can see, I joined late. Same with that other guy. But, Yeah, at the end of every game, you go through this. You know, it tells you what experience you gained, money you gained, all that stuff. You sometimes get loot like armor and stuff. Usually it's not that great, but it's whatever. This is how you would deploy war assets to help out your, faction war. You can check your orders if you want, or quit to the world map. But yeah, go into map vote, and you can actually select, what map you want to play. Which I just readied up so that we can get started in this, so I can actually show you something. But we're gonna play in elimination mode again, so I can actually show you something. But how elimination works is exactly how the name says. You just run around and you kill people. You always go into this little animation, all that stuff, wait, and yeah. I'm running out of time, so I'm just gonna cut this a little bit. But any day now. Any day now. Anyway, this is taking a while. The one complaint that I have about this game, like, I love this game. I love medieval combat. It's fun to me. I enjoy it. I enjoy Dark Souls because it's medieval, and I really like, sword and shield style combat. It's fun for me. But the one complaint is that it doesn't have like dedicated servers, kind of like how Siege was when it first came out. Whereas like a host is the one in charge of the server. Well, whenever the host leaves, what happens? Everybody gets dropped. This game's a little bit better on that because it doesn't just drop everyone, it actually tries to find a different host. But sometimes it fails and half the team gets dropped, and then you're like, why is my entire team bots and I'm playing against other players? Which is pretty annoying sometimes. Damn, this guy's kicking my ass. I gotta play a little smart now. Yeah, that's my one complaint. If they had dedicated servers, fucker's running away, what a bitch. This guy's gonna probably steal my kill. Anyway, in this game mode you get pickups and stuff, just like in Skirmish you do the same thing. But yeah, the one complaint is they should really think about having dedicated servers. As you can see right there, you can hit your own teammates, and it can do damage to your teammates, which is annoying as hell. It'll also break their block, so if they're actually fighting somebody and that person decides, hey, I'm gonna try to attack, and they're blocking and you run up and you hit your own teammate, you could just get them killed. And it's happened to me a few times, where I got killed because of some teammate with a long ass weapon decided, you know what, I'm gonna do a swinging motion, and they hit like 3 other people. But right here, as you can see, there's different icons. The cross icon for like HP, the normal icon for health points, and then the red skull. The red skull means they're eliminated, like they've been executed, which means you can't run up and revive them. But the one that's like the HP symbol, it's they can be revived by their teammates. So if you happen to walk away and one of their teammates decides to run up, they have a chance to revive their teammate. There's a time limit, but still keep that in mind. So in elimination mode, it's always nice to get that execution, because then no one can run up and revive the person. So I have a video limit, like how long I made the videos, 30 minutes, which is a pretty long video. But to really explain this game in its entirety, I like any game, I tend to break down everything in detail. I'm trying to talk as fast as I can to actually get through this video, but it is what it is. There's a lot to this game. I really like, the only game mode I didn't actually go over is probably Brawl and Dominion, but I explained them a little bit in the video. Dominion is just capture the points. So overall, I really enjoy this game. It's really well put together, like surprisingly well put together. Like, it's pretty easy to find out, like navigate all the screens. It's pretty easy to understand, how the game works. Everything's pretty well put together. You have your orders, everything's labeled really nicely. It's not like, hey, you're gonna miss the secret screen and you're going to suck at the game because you did that. It's, everything's laid out pretty well. And it's pretty easy just to navigate everything, which is really nice because a lot of games screw that up and make it difficult to navigate. I mean, the overall game would be good, but then they make it hard to navigate. This game has good gameplay, and it's really well put together, which is nice. The one major issue, though, is that multiplayer, how the servers are set up, because they don't have dedicated servers. It's like, here's your host. It's like that old style, like what you would see in like Halo 2, where there was a person who was the host and you went off of their internet connection, you connected to them, and then you connected to everybody else, which causes major lag for everybody because you never know how good that host's internet is. If the host has really crappy internet, and they're connected to somebody with crappy internet, the person with the crappy internet connecting to that host is going to lag even worse. So it results in you getting hit without even getting an indication of this person's attacking me. So sometimes you'll get hit and then you'll see the sword swing. And it's just like, I'm sitting here in block motion from that angle. Why did that go through? Like sometimes you'll do a block and your character will raise their swords up or shield or whatever to block the attack, and you'll watch the weapon just go right through your block and hit you anyway. And that's just simply lag. Sometimes you'll get hit from 20 feet away. It's really annoying because they don't have the servers. And it's really dumb on Ubisoft's part to actually do that, being that they had that same issue with Rainbow Six Siege. Why they decided, you know what, let's take this game and do the exact same thing and make this game even more like just push for that multiplayer, but also have a single player on it. Let's just push even harder with that, because the single player kind of, with how it unlocks your character customization, it kind of pushes you into multiplayer. Like, it's like, oh, you finished the storyline, here's some stuff to use in multiplayer. So it really pushes for that multiplayer. On top of that, the faction wars and all that. So it's pretty disappointing to see it not have dedicated servers, because that's the downfall of this game. That's it. That's all I can really see. Like, sure, it has some bugs and glitches and stuff like that, but what game doesn't? It just came out. It's stuff that can be fixed, and it's, for the most part, not a bad game. It's not super glitchy like you would expect most new games that are coming out are. Like, it's very well put together. The game as a whole is a great game. The gameplay, everything is just, it's amazing. But because of the servers, because of how it does the hosting and everything, it really, truly limits what this game is capable of. And I hope Ubisoft gets their shit together and, makes dedicated servers like they should have done. Especially with a game that's so multiplayer based. If this was a single player game with some kind of like multiplayer co-op, like, Left 4 Dead, then it would be understandable why there's a host and all that. But those are the only kind of like co-op kind of games are what you would use that hosting style multiplayer for. This kind of combat where you're actually doing PvP should never, ever, ever be hosting style server connections. It should never be like that. There should be a dedicated server that they connect to. You're connecting to Ubisoft, not a host. So, yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys.